Would you please welcome today's press conference guest, Jason Donovan.
Jason, we've managed to scrape some questions for you. Sure. There are millions to get through, and we're going to start off with Suzanne, actually. Now, Suzanne won our competition. She wrote in with the best question of all, we felt, when you voted. So, Suzanne, fire away.
Suzanne?
Right, if the tables were turned, what question would you have asked me?
Oh, that's a tough one. Got to reverse that. I'd probably ask you, what sports do you play? And what football team do you barrack for? Can you tell me? You have to answer.
You've got to answer. That's the interview situation.
You're the press conference guest now.
Now you've become the guest.
I like Liverpool.
Do you? Vote for Liverpool?
I don't really like sports much, but I like rounders. Apart from that, I don't really like sports.
Play netball or?
Yeah, play a bit of netball.
Aussie rules?
Aussie
rules.
rules.
Probably know.
There you go, you see, that's the question.
That's it.
That's what you would have been asked.
That's what
terrific.
I would have said.
And we also sat Suzanne by the side of Jason so she can sit there and gaze into his eyes for the rest of the press conference. On to the telephones now. And who's on line one?
It's Julie Quays here.
Hello, Julie.
Hi, Jason.
How are you?
My question is, pop stars like Yaz write political songs, and as there is an Aboriginal problem in Australia, would you like to record a song about them?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't know enough about the Aboriginal problem in Australia, and I think if you look to a band like Midnight Oil, who've been very successful worldwide, their recent album, Diesel and Dust, was actually about that. So I believe in sort of the Australian Conservation Foundation is something I feel very strongly about. So maybe in the future I might do something along that lines, but I don't believe in actually pushing issues. I think that people really need to be aware of the facts and then work it out for themselves.
What's the Australian Conservation Council?
This Conservation Foundation actually basically works along the lines of protecting the environment, protecting the beaches. There was a concert in Australia called Turn Back the Tide, which was a concert of most of the Australian sort of acts had, and basically that was in support of the Conservation Foundation, because we've got a lot of pollution that tends to go out from the Sydney beaches into the water, and it stops swimmers from actually swimming and can cause infections. That's just one of the sort of issues that they deal with.
Thank you very much indeed for your call.
Thank
that
you.
answered your question. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Tim is next.
How much of an influence does Doc Acton Waterman set on your music and yourself?
Well, I think in terms of like, they certainly write, produce and arrange the music, so their influence is very large, but as a vocalist you have to add a certain amount of emotion and warmth to a song. I mean, a song doesn't necessarily work if you just sing it bland. It's like being an actor. You could walk into a room and do a scene, and as an actor you don't put any feeling into it, so the scene doesn't work. It's the same applies to the singing. If you don't put any input into the voice that you, or the emotion that you give in the song, it's nothing really. The song is nothing. But they do have a lot of influence. I like their music. I've listened to their music prior to actually singing some of their songs, and some of Rick Astley's stuff, Never Gonna Give You Up, is one of my favourite songs.
Okay, so, all right. Thank you for that. Line 2, I believe, is Donna.
Hiya.
Hello, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hiya.
Hiya. Hiya.
Off you go.
If you could be any character from history, who would you be and why?
This is a hard one. I think I'd probably like to be one of the Beatles, funny enough, or I would love to have lived through that era and experienced sort of some of the things that creatively John Lennon and Paul McCartney and George Harrison and Ringo Starr contributed a lot to what music is today, and I know that Stockache and Waterman, in the way that they work, tend to base some of their things on the melodies of the Beatles stuff. Even the recent Tears for Fears album, sort of very Beatles orientated. I've just always followed Paul McCartney's career particularly, and been a great fan of his. So
you would have been Paul McCartney?
Well, yeah.
Maybe for a day.
Maybe for a day, then go back to myself.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for that call, Donna.
Thanks, Donna. Stephen.
Why do you think Australian soaps are so popular in Britain?
I think that the main reason why they are so popular is because I think Australia, unlike America, America is because we're part of the Commonwealth ties, and I suppose because we're influenced a lot by royalty to a large degree. We've got the same sort of government system. That our country is very similar to yours, maybe a little warmer at times. Says Phil, you know, sort of shivering in the corner.
Death, yeah.
So I think our lifestyle is very similar to yours. So that if you come up with a formula or a group of actors or a group of people and a good script and a show that can relate to families across the board, then you're going to have a certain amount of success, I think, with a television series or a soap opera or a film.
If we just stay on that theme for a minute, there's a question from Katie here.
If you could play any other character in Neighbours, be it male or female, for one day, who would you choose to play?
It wouldn't be Mrs. Mangle.
Yeah, you would.
There's a bit of a chuckle there. I think Clive was always a very bubbly sort of character. Do you remember Melanie with the laugh that went? You remember that? She'd, you know, if you were a female, of course, maybe she'd be the alternative there. But I think Clive, because he sort of, as an actor, he had a lot to contribute. Jeff had a lot to contribute. He's actually just recently gone back into Neighbours. So.
That's yet to come for us.
Yeah, it's yet to come.
Right,
it's a bit of a secret there.
Well, thank you for that. Anne-Marie is on line 3. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi.
Off you go with your question.
How has your fame affected relationships with your family and friends?
Well, I mean, I sort of grown up basically with a family that's been involved in entertainment, and I can realise that fame can be pretty fickle, and it goes through stages. It goes through ups and downs, and I think you've got to be aware that while you can be successful one minute, and unless you put 100% effort into what you do, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that your next song is going to be successful or your next video is going to be successful. And I think it's a challenge. But I like to keep, I find that my friends particularly, who are basically just accountants or plumbers or whoever they may be, really keep me down to earth. And my family are the same, because they sort of know the business, they know the ups and the downs in the business.
Do you tend to make friends outside of the area that you work in, outside of the music industry, for that reason?
Well, not specifically, because I don't believe in sort of making friends just purely for making friends. You know, it's got to come from your heart, I think. And the friends that I've had at school are still all my friends. It's great when I go home, you know. You can sort of just go out and do whatever you want to do, and those guys will still accept you, as Jason Donovan, who was in, you know, their economics class 5 years ago. So, yeah, I mean, I do have a lot of friends outside of the business, but I suppose with this particular work, you do keep friends also in the business as well. So it varies.
Good. Thank you very much indeed for that, Anne-Marie.
Ramsey next.
Who chooses your clothes?
Who chooses my clothes? Well, there's a lady at PWL, who's the record company that you know, the Pete Waterman Limited, Stock Aitken Waterman. She goes out, a lady called Sharon goes out and actually gets a whole bunch of clothes of particular designs that I might like, or and then I'll sit down and sort of choose what clothes I prefer to go with which and whatever. So I've got someone who actually brings the clothes together. I suppose I guess I do make the final sort of decisions. But I mean, I just like to get out occasionally and go for a walk down King's Road or wherever it may be, and just choose my own stuff as well. You know?
Can still do that? Yeah,
I mean, I want to do that. I want to sort of be as normal as anybody else, really. Yeah, I think that gives you a good outlook on things as well, and a sort of a freedom to be able to get out and do things and not feel as if you're restricted to sort of stay in four walls, because I think that can be a bit self-destructive in some ways. I think you've got to get out there and see what people are doing and experience people and just mix, really, which I enjoy.
Okay. Right, Pam.
Hi Jason.
Hi Pam, how are you?
What comes first in your life, singing or acting, and would you like to star in another film?
Singing at the moment is probably the most important to me. I hope to next year do a tour, So obviously early next year will be leading up to that, and there'll be rehearsals and whatever. Also, I've got my next album coming in January. But the acting at the moment, obviously I've left Neighbours, but I am still in Neighbours in Britain for quite a while yet. I'd like to concentrate on the acting, but to do little bits and pieces and to learn a little more about it with films and stuff like that.
Good. Thank you very much.
That's
indeed
okay.
for that.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks a lot. Great pleasure to have you along this morning.
That's
Next
okay.
week, actually, more Neighbours.
Yeah, we've got Madge and Harold coming
Madge.
in. Woo, wait for that.
There's also Philip Hodgson as well. He'll be here.
We've got Steve Wright.
And Brother Beyond will be playing live in the studio.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you, Jason.
Bye-bye. See you next week. I'm going. Oh, they're all here.
Don't forget, there's a whole morning's entertainment from Children's BBC tomorrow on BBC.